What's up guys, welcome back. The OCG Banlist has been revealed a couple of hours ago and it's actually quite lit, quite insane, but it has one fatal problem, one fatal flaw. Before we dig into the new list, let's take a look at their current OCG format. As you probably already have seen on Road of the King, their most recent results should be somewhat like this, right? With the most obvious thing is that currently Sky Strikers and Morley, the pure build, are not really dominating the entire scene, but again it's pretty much the best deck currently in the OCG, followed by Magicians, Pendulum Magicians, and then you know the much less represented deck with ABCs, Link Spam ABCs with Sentoki, Sky Strikers, Gokis, and then you know a couple of other lists. So is this new OCG list going to change anything about their current format? Well, let's take a look. And as you're already seeing here, both the Cannon Soldier brothers are going to get banned in the OCG for a very good reason, right? Because again, Toon Cannon Soldier is also searchable off of, the Toon engine, the small Toon engine. And Cannon Soldier being indirectly searchable thanks to, well, Needle Fiber into Summon Sorceress, basically for something like ABCs, right? And other FTK-oriented decks featuring Cannon Soldier, but mostly thanks to Firewall Dragon. And with this, they are somewhat, well, no, that's not really true. They are somewhat ignoring the big problem cards, and I'm looking at Needle Fiber, Firewall Dragon, for example. But again, Cannon Soldier is definitely a good hit. The fact that it's again not once per turn, we've talked about this previously, but it, of course, in case of ABCs, was super searchable thanks to Summon Sorceress, and you were able to get it back from your graveyard with Firewall Dragon. Again, making that FTK super consistent, right? But okay, they hit Cannon Soldier and Toon Cannon Soldier, but we still have a couple of, at least, what is it called, that Amazon's Archer, I believe her name is, a super old card as well, but I think she needs to tribute 2 monsters, so again, different compared to Cannon Soldier to deal burn damage, but not really sure if it's still possible, right? Unless, well, it might still be possible to pull off the FTK with the Archer, but, probably far less consistent. Then we have Magical Explosion. This card has been a problem ever since it was released. I remember playing this, Magical Explosion FTK in the absolute beginning with Reasoning, with Monster Gate, with Cyber Valley, Diamond Dude Turbo-ish deck featuring Magical Explosion. I think the last time this card was actually a problem was with the Monarch FTK deck, for us TCG players at least. I think for now in the OCG it wasn't a problem, it wasn't really played, but again, it's just a matter of time that the Magical Explosion would just be again like that problem, being a relevant FTK, right? So that's pretty much it for the forbidden list for the OCG. Then we go to the limit list, so the cards going to 1. It's again, and we are seeing here one of those big differences between both the OCG and TCG is, of course, the first one here is Astrograph Sorcerer. The TCG put this card to 0 in the most recent TCG ban list. Well, no, the OCG is going to take it a little bit different and hitting, or yeah, pretty much hitting Astrograph Sorcerer to 1, severely hitting and weakening Pendulum Magicians, right? Or, Pendulums in general, since, Astrograph Sorcerer was definitely splashable. Same for Harmonizing Magician, and this is actually huge, hitting Electromite as well, and again not hitting Pendulum Magicians alone, but other Pendulum decks as well. And I'm looking, well, recently with the new support Abyss Actors, not really the best top tier deck, but other Pendulum decks as well, and still Harmonizing Magician, same for the TCG. In the TCG it's banned, right, but again, small difference is the OCG keeps this card at 1, so 3 super big hits, 2 Pendulum Magicians, currently the second best deck in the OCG as we saw earlier, but up until now, no hits to Sky Strikers, right? And speaking of the devil, the first and I think the only Sky Striker hit is Yep, indeed, the token generator, right? The token generator being put to one the Hornet drones. This is definitely a hit to Sky Strikers, but again, Engage being their searcher, being their, you know, +1 eventually, and again a super strong card, searching out this one of token card. The fact that it's still at 1, you know, keeps the Sky Striker engine still super live, right? But again, somewhat weakened for the most obvious reasons. And then we have set rotations. I believe it was semi-limited earlier, but again, the huge field spell engine with terraforming, set rotation, all those lovely field spell cards and searches again get somewhat of a hit here. Set rotation to 1. Well, I guess it's fine, right? It's not really that big of a, well, okay, it somewhat hits decks like ABCs, right? So that's pretty much it for the limit section. Semi-limit section. Cards going back to 2 are cards going to 2 here in the OCG. The first 2 here, both Construct and Winda, you know, with I believe the previous OCG Banlist Shaddoll Construct was put to 1, and you know, from the OCG list, Shaddolls weren't really relevant, right? I don't think, or at least I can't remember reviewing a Shaddoll list from my previous metagame, OCG metagame breakdown, so both Construct and Winda going back to 2, okay, that's a boost to, you know, at least I think the only time at least I saw Shaddolls being somewhat competitive was the small splashable engine of, you know, Shaddoll Fusion, and going second, using Shaddoll Fusion to send something like a glow-up bulb from your deck to the graveyard, just being needle fiber fodder, right? So that small splashable engine in something like ABC, or it was side decked in ABC, but outside of that, like a pure Shaddoll deck or a Shaddoll oriented deck, I again have never, at least from the past few months, haven't seen that yet. Then again, 2 Construct might change that a little bit, having those extra constructs and, you know, that extra Winda access might help, right? Spiral Gear Drone again was a super severe hit a couple of months ago when they hit spirals, but again, 1 extra drone. Not really sure if it's going to change anything. We saw spirals having some small representation in the OCG, same for us TCG players, by the way, using the Sky Striker engine, but again, it's probably not going to be that strong anymore, and especially, you know, with the token generator, the drones, I believe its name is, going to 1 here in the OCG, so okay, whatever, right? The Speedroid Terror Top again back to 2, but the question here is, you know, will people take the risk of main decking that Borg, the Tekkenton Borg, I believe the name is right, drawing that before they draw into the Speedroid Terror Top? Are people, at least will people take the risk of main decking the Speedroid engine again in something like BA, whatever? They probably will, but yeah, again, quite of an interesting pick here, Terror Top to 2 again. This commander, this card can definitely go to 3 after the errata. It's not going to be a problem, right? Emergency Teleport, that's interesting. Cosmos, I believe the Dark Destroyer is at 3 still in the OCG, I think so, but again, Teleport going back to 2, okay, that's interesting, right? And then, the cards going back to 3, we have Ice Bell, okay, we remember that from a couple of OCG lists ago. Konami immediately Xing like a lot of decks, a lot of archetypes, Invoked for example, Windwitch Invoked, and them giving back Ice Bell back to 3 is understandable. Shurit, rip Shurit in the TCG still, same like cards like Stratos, Construct. I mean, again, one of those big differences between both TCG and OCG. Shurit back to 3. And I think in the TCG, this is not going to happen. Same for Stratos, same for Construct, and same for Shurit. TCG Konami is definitely, probably, we don't know, right, but probably not going to do that. If they do it, it's going to be huge news, but you know, probably not, right? So sure, it's back to 3 in the OCG. Same for Mathematician. Card of the Mice, was Card of the Mice semi-limited? I'm not really sure about this, but again, Card of the Mice back to 3. Same for True Draco Heritage. Well, I guess it's fine, right? Very similar to the TCG, but still, I believe both, you know, Master Masterpiece and the Diagram are still banned in the OCG. So yeah, true Dracos aren't really too relevant in OCG land. So again, if we take a look at their most recent OCG metagame breakdown, their pie chart, so what's the ban list going to do about this? Well, Sky Striker is pretty much unhindered. Well, the token generator is put to 1, but still that's somewhat of a small hit to their consistency, but still it's still a very strong splashable engine and still has a lot of potential, right? Pendulum Magician's got a huge hit, you know, with only one Harmonizing Magician, one Astrograph Sorcerer and big one Electromite. So Pendulums get a severe hit for the new OCG ban list. And okay, the splashable engine of Engage and the token generator in case of Sky Strikers for Goki and, you know, ABCs. That somewhat of a splashable engine is definitely weaker, but I think it's still quite irrelevant. So the TCG consequences, if we're talking about something like Stratos, El Shaddai Construct, for example, Assured, and I believe there are other cards as well, no way the TCG Konami is going to give us those cards back for us TCG, at least on the next TCG ban list, right? Probably after Worlds, but I don't know, guys. This is definitely a good list, but still, it might need those couple of extra hits still. So I'm definitely interested to see how this is going to develop the OCG format. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lead them signing out. Peace.